chafing queen.
Sexy sustainability.
Meditate, masturbate, medicate.
Okay, you guys, we are back. Oh my God, guys, it is time for our guests. You guys, I am so excited because this is my boo-boo, okay? This is my boo-boo. You hear that? Y'all, it's Trippy Taylor in the building. Say hi.
Hey.
He's like, hey.
Okay.
You guys,
over here.
if you don't know Keith, Pole Hubby, Trippy Taylor, Trophy, he's got many names, okay? If y'all don't know him and don't follow him, y'all are going to after this because watching, I call him Pole Hubby because that's just what I'm so used to. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But watching Pole Hubby do his thing on the pole is just like magic. It's literally like watching ballet or watching like an opera. Like it gives me those like, because it's entrancing. It really is. Like your flow, your fluidity, you're so strong. Like, so yeah, you guys, this is Keith. I'm gonna let you properly introduce yourselves before I just, oh, look, Georgie's in the background.
Okay, come on, Georgie. We love a good cat.
Right? Look, kitty cat.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Keith, tell us who you are. Tell us your, say hi to the people.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me, my sister Kimbo.
That's
my
right.
name is Keith. I go by Trippy, or everybody knows me as Trippy on Instagram, Trippy Taylor. I go by a bunch of other things too, but
Trophy.
You can call me Trophy. Okay, put me on the show. My name is Keith again, but yeah. So I have been pole dancing for many years now, a little over 7.
Is it 7 now? I was wondering. I'm like, when did
7?
Yeah,
yeah,
7 years.
Yeah.
Look at you.
7 years. It's crazy. Okay.
Yes.
I can't believe it. Like, time flies. It really does.
Who you telling, Pole Hubby? Like, seriously.
Yes.
Well, yeah. Well, and then just for the people, I'm trying to be better about just including this in every episode. What are your pronouns, if you don't mind?
My pronouns are he, him, his, bad bitch, city girl, all of them above. Okay. Period.
Yes, y'all heard it. Yeah, I love that. Keith, this is like, okay, so I call you Pole Hubby, whatever. Let's tell the people a little bit of our backstory. So you guys, I know Pole Hubby because we used to teach pole dance together in Chicago. And he made the big step in getting his master's degree in LA. We got Miss Kinesiology up in the building, okay? And then that's when you moved out there, right? And you're still currently there, right?
Exactly. So I moved for school in 2019. I like to say that school was my excuse to get out here, but really I was just over the cold in Chicago. It was eating me alive.
I don't blame you.
I couldn't even do it no more.
Yes,
I moved for school. I did my 2 years of grad school. And so now I have my master's degree in kinesiology. So yes, and I'm still out here in LA.
I just love when you say that. It's just like, yes. I want to know more about I want to know more about that because I know people are also curious too. Because, so currently you're living in LA, right? You're in the Los Angeles region, correct?
Correct.
Right. And so basically you live there and you are you did study kinesiology. So for the people that didn't go to freaking like grad school and like don't know what the fuck that is, me, can you give us a little breakdown of like, I always say the word wrong too. Am I saying it right? Kinesiology?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Kinesiology.
Yes.
Yeah.
So can you give us a little breakdown? Like, what is that exactly? And then what made you study it?
So kinesiology is basically just movement science. So you can go into a bunch of different areas with it. Some people like to go into like athletic training. Some people go into physical therapy, occupational therapy. So you can really go into many different routes in kinesiology. What got me interested in kinesiology is actually pole dance. So
I love
pole
that.
Dance, yeah. So pole dance really did change my life when I first started going to it and taking classes. I never imagined myself being where I am today just by taking that first class. So when I first started, I was like, wow, like I took my first class and I honestly thought I was gonna go in there and like shut it down. Like I was gonna go in there and eat that pole up, and it was actually the opposite. The pole ate me up. And I went home sore. I went home tired. I went home motivated to go again, like to try it again. Like I was so shocked at how fun it was, how much strength I had to use, how much grace I had to put into it for everything to kind of work together. So through that step into pole is what kind of made me want to learn other modalities of movement. So I got into yoga, I got into stretching. A lot of people also don't know I swam competitively throughout high school. So
that's
I've always
right.
I've always been athletic. I've always been in sports growing up. So I did like soccer. I did soccer basically my whole childhood.
Really?
Kind of dabbled in basketball a little, did football a little bit. It wasn't my favorite. But swimming was my tea. So I did swimming for 3 years. And then like after that, sort of just weight training sort of things. So I've always had an athletic background, but it wasn't until pole when I first started learning about like other like forms of movement such as yoga, Pilates, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So long story short, that's basically what led me to kinesiology. Is I got into school when I first started pole as well. And I was in my undergrad learning community health and wellness. It's similar to a public health degree, but I also minored in dance. So I was taking ballet classes 3 times a week. I was taking modern classes twice a week. For 3 years, I was taking a bunch of different dance classes.
Really?
And so all of that was basically to be better at pole, to learn more about my body, to learn about mechanics of the body, how the body moves, what muscles are pulling what bones, like how the body works basically. And that was basically my main drive the main drive for me to want to pursue a master's degree in kinesiology. It was all for pole. So,
for the love of pole.
For the love of pole.
I love it. Yeah, you know what? And it's so funny, guys. Like going back in the day, I remember when Keith started going to the studio I was at, and like I think you were going to just a different studio for a little bit, but then like once you like started going where we were going, like it was just like, okay, I'm here, right? But what I did notice about you immediately was just like, yeah, like you just had a natural, like it makes sense now, me learning your full background, especially with the like athleticism, and then hubby swimming. That makes so much sense because your shoulder range is insane. And now it makes sense. It makes sense because in swimming, like you do all the shoulder stuff because like that for me has always been a really big problem area is like my shoulder flexibility. I don't have it. I was gifted with like more leg flexibility than anything, but back and shoulder was like, nah, your girl has to work. And for you, I thought you were like naturally like gifted in that sense, but in a sense you probably are, but you also, I think your training for years of swim and like all the other sports you did really honestly molded you into the amazing pole dancer that you are now. Truly, it makes sense.
Yeah, I definitely think it all contributed to kind of like where I'm at now and how I progressed through my pole journey was kind of like knowing how my body works, kind of, sort of, because it wasn't until pole and like stretching and all those things when I really learned about my body and how it works. But I already had an awareness stepping into pole. So it wasn't like pole was my first like physical activity that I've ever like done, I guess. It was the only one that really required like flexibility and strength and all of those other things. So yeah, so swimming definitely probably had something to do with it. I was also a flyer, so that was my best stroke. butterfly, when your
Oh,
arms go over.
that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
All shoulder
So
and
that was my best
chest.
stuff. Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes
So
so much sense, hubby. Like now I'm
yeah.
starting to like, cause like just like yourself, you know, I have you know, in the sense of like finding pole and just being like, oh my God, like there is something here for me, you know, like pole to me. And the thing is like, and we kind of both been a part of each other's journey, kind of like back to teaching. Because during the pandemic, we took a break as well. And just kind of like the pandemic, honestly, for us and a lot of people out there, really kind of made us sit down with our feelings and our thoughts and just with our where we are in our lives and where we want our careers to go. And
really
Keith missed teaching as much as me, and I missed it too. And so like,
absolutely.
you know, I recently was out in LA for work. And so I was, you know, I was out there and I was like, "Ooh, hubby, I'm coming to your class."
Okay.
So I took hubby's class in LA, and it was just such a great, like, it was so nostalgic, but it was also so great to see you up there doing your thing, because like now, you know, you literally have a master's in, you know, in this craft that you've been studying. Clearly you've been interested in your whole life, you know, now that I'm hearing your background, but now even more so taking it like to the next level and being like, okay, I know this is what I want to do. I love this. Pole was like kind of the awakening part of it. Like, because the thing is like certain people, right? Everybody has different, you know, vices or things that they love. And like, you know, if you're an athlete, maybe you love baseball, maybe you love basketball, you know, maybe if you're a gymnast, you love that. Maybe if you like ice skating or skating, you know, like roller skating, you know. So Pole just did it for us, you know what I mean? Like it was just one of those full connection moments. So I can still resonate with you with that. But one thing's for sure is like being in your class, like I just really felt like the love there. And also just I know that you know what you're talking about. Like he was breaking down all of like our warm-ups and like kind of like all of the stuff that was very, very important to Pole. You know, I mean, all the areas that are like literally, hubby, right now, I'm injured right now because your girl did a rock star. I taught on Tuesday night. And literally, like, I did a rock star. I hadn't did it in so long because one of our old students came to my class, and literally, I'm like limping, like I'm fucking limping because you know the rock star. You put your leg on the pole real, and then you're pushing out. That's a muscle, baby. I haven't done that move in like 3 years. I could still do it, but then like my body the next day was like, "Bitch, what the fuck just happened?" Like, yeah. So like you studying that, you would have been like, "Kim, fuck you doing?" You probably would have been like, "Bitch, you didn't stretch before or after.
Did you warm up?
Did you?" The thing was, I was warm, but then I got cold. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? When your body gets cold, you know, and you're just like, So yeah. I was just like thinking about you for the whole time for that too. So I was like, okay. But when it comes to pole dancing, right? So you not only did you pole and you did that like almost just like for fun, but you also taught. You actually have done a few competitions, right? And you won too. Can you tell us about that?
I have, yeah. So I've competed a total of 6 times.
Nice.
And yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So yeah, I've competed a total of 6 times. I've placed in all of them. I believe
placed meaning like first, second, or third place, right?
Placed me correct, yeah, first, second, or third place. I believe I've won 3 of them.
Yeah, come on now. I believe like he lost count of all the winnings that he had.
I mean, you know,
that's why it's trophy, y'all. I love
it. A long time ago, honestly. Like I don't know, COVID makes it seem like it was like 12 years ago for some
doesn't
reason.
It?
Oh, it does.
It feels like a lifetime ago.
Everything seems so long ago. Yes. So that was like competing was probably like the highlight of my like pole journey. Or one of the highlights. I wouldn't say it's the highlight now, but at the time it definitely was. I was able to travel, so I went to New York, I was in New Orleans, I went to San Francisco, Missouri. So I think that was probably the best part about it, was just to get to see places that I've never been to before. My friends and family supporting, my pole family supporting, and all of those things. So that was a really fun time for me. Competing is, I love to show off like my talent, and I think that was like a hard thing to do when I did first start polling, for one reason or another. But I really enjoyed competing because it was me being able to show the best of myself and what I've been working towards, and just everything like I've accumulated over the time. So it was a really fun moment for me. They also are very stressful. I have
Oh,
to
tell
also
me
add
about
that in
it.
there.
Yeah.
So that was, that was a double-edged sword there a little bit, because I got into like this mode of like, I felt like back when I was swimming, like I'm competitive again, I want to win, like all of those things. So it was weird to have those emotions kind of come back through me through that time, because I hadn't felt them in years. I hadn't really been in a environment where it was like a competition, like I really want to win and all those things. So it was a blast. My last competition was the Nationals one in San Francisco. That was honestly amazing. Like
So, do you
the
know what it's
venue was so
called? Was it
beautiful.
USPD? What is it?
It was
United.
PSO, Pole Sport Organization. So the
Perfect.
PSO Nationals. It was in San Fran, 2019. That one was so amazing. Like I couldn't even believe that I was in the nationals competition.
That's right.
Yet
Period.
alone, yes, yes, and it was crazy because I competed twice that day, because when I entered, I was in the first category. I was in a wild card, so I ended up winning a regionals one, and then like got transferred to the next level, I guess. But I wasn't an actual finalist in the final competition until I did that wild card round.
Oh, okay,
So I
okay.
competed in the wild card round. I was
Won
able
that,
to win that,
and then it
and
got you
then
to
I
the
went
next
to the
level.
final one.
And where did you place
Exactly.
in that
So
one?
I placed second in the final one.
Amazing.
So yeah,
Amazing.
it was it
Incredible.
was so fun though.
Congrats.
Like, thank you, thank you. It was so fun, so fun. I won a really big trophy. It's shiny and it's
That's
heavy.
right. Trippy Taylor, aka Trophy. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I love it.
Okay.
I mean, like,
Yes.
I love hearing your journey with that. And especially since, pole dancing in general has a stigma, obviously, because
Yes.
you know us, you know me, but I know you feel the same. But girl, I always pay homage to our sex worker community and these strippers
Yes,
out in these
honey.
streets. Okay, like, listen,
Absolutely.
bow down to them all day. I'm such an advocate. The pole dance studio I teach at now is stripper run, stripper owned. Like, we're such advocates because literally I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for me going to the strip club as 18 years old and seeing your girl on the pole busting it wide open and being so inspired, So there's
who
already
paved the way?
listen, we will listen. I hate the ones that are just not hate, but it's like I just don't quite understand the mindset between people that are just like anti-stripper, anti-sex worker, like don't associate me as a stripper, like, but I'm on a pole. It's like, what? You know what I mean? But anyways, I'm like complimented when people think I'm a stripper. I'm like, listen, I'm actually not right. Right. Listen, I'm like, I would not take that title because I didn't earn it, but I will. I'm very complimented. I'm complimented, so thank you.
Okay.
But when it comes to like, there's a stigma as a woman to being on the pole. How does it feel like now? Is there a stigma now also associated with men pole dancing? How does that feel?
So it's really weird because when I first started pole dancing, I did kind of keep it under wraps a little bit. Like my friends knew, everybody that I was going with knew that I was doing it, but it wasn't something that I was actually like blasting or posting on Instagram or anything like that. And it was partially because of that. But it was really weird because once I actually started posting myself, I never really received too much like backlash for it. So there is definitely a stigma still, like, and a bias about it.
Right.
But I personally haven't really dealt with that too much. Even now, like when I post to Instagram, like it's nothing but love, and you know, it's really heartwarming to see, and like in the world and the day we live in today, like we understand that like gender is really, you know, it's socially constructed. So we know that that is, you know, like you could do anything you want regardless of how you identify. And I think that is what I'm most kind of proud about, is being like, I identify as he, him, and his. And I pole dance, you know, that's just what I do.
Right.
It's what I do.
Ain't
It's
nothing
what I
wrong with
do,
it.
you know, and I'm good at it, and I'm gonna continue to do it. So it is a stigma, but I feel like the world and just the way that everything is evolving is a lot more accepting for anybody doing anything that they want to do and what makes them feel happy. So
I love it. Yeah. I mean, I'm very happy to hear that you haven't had any negative really connotation, you know, a sense of like a man pulled it. Like that makes me happy to hear, because, you know, obviously, you know, in the LGBTQIA plus community, like there's obviously, you know, so much, you know, drama there, in a sense of like people just not being accepting of people living the lives that they want to live. Like, why is it your business how I live my life? So, you know, like, yeah, so I'm happy to hear that, you know, you're not really seeing like this major, you know, in a sense of like, but I can understand too where you're coming from, because, you know, like my lifestyle, like when I started to post about pole, like I'm very grateful and thankful that my family has not been really like, oh my God, you know what I mean? Like I haven't had that, like, you know, that like shame and all that stuff. However, I know that's like very case by case, you know what I mean? Some people, some people are like, oh girl, I could never be on the pole, like posting it, because, you know, oh my God, you know, my so-and-so will this, my so-and-so will that, my grandma will this.
Exactly. And I think that's why we need to talk about it more openly, normally. Like, you know, like it's really not that big of a deal. Like it's really not. And I think the more we talk about it just like this and make it normal, like the easier it becomes, and for people to understand that pole is an art, pole can be a sport, pole can be, you know, you
how
can
you make
strip,
your cash.
like how you make your cash. Exactly. Like pole can be whatever you choose for it to be on whatever day of the week it is, however you're feeling. So, and I think that's what I like about it too, is like, I don't have to be just one thing, because I'm not one thing, I'm many things. So when I go to the studio and when I'm training, like some days I might feel like, you know, I want to be more athletic today. Let me work on some static combos, some fungies, whatever it may be.
Whew,
some days I get there, okay. And
them things are hard, y'all.
Okay, that's a rare day.
I'm gonna put some examples in the visuals, but y'all, when you see Keith doing his fungies, Lord, like you're basically catching your body, your entire body's weight on your like shoulder and your fucking arm, you know what I mean? And it's just insane.
You're doing a flip. It looks like flipping a pancake.
Yep, but on the pole. It's literally that. Yeah, and it takes so much skill, so much skill. Well, Keith, I mean, literally, like I literally, you know, just I'm in awe of you when you do dance and when you're performing, because I do feel like you kind of let go, and you're very like, you just like have a way of expressing yourself through the pole too. Like I can feel your energy, and it's like radiant, and it's just a show to watch. Like literally, I've watched Keith go on the pole and freestyle and just fucking slay. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, guys, like it's not only just like, okay, like I sat here and I practiced a choreographed piece. No, Keith will go up there and just freestyle sometimes and just perform and just be amazing. Like literally, just go up there and just do his thing. And you'd be like, oh, did you like go over that for like no, I just freestyle. I just, you know, wang it. And I'm like, what?
Seeing what happens.
Right. You know? And it's literally amazing. So I just think that's great. So okay. So we talked about that in a sense of like pole and our history and all that, but like, so like, what is like one of the top favorite things about pole dancing that you love? Like just off the top, if you can think. I mean, that's really hard to like choose, but like, cause I'm thinking too, I'm like, that's hard.
But I have an answer.
Ooh.
My favorite thing about pole dancing is spinning.
Yes.
I love, 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 love me some spin pole. It is my absolute favorite. And I think that I don't know. I've always been the type of person like I like adrenaline. You know, I like doing thrilling things. I want to jump off of mountains and skydive and scuba dive.
You
with a
crazy
great
as
white
hell.
Shark. Like I want to do crazy things. So like anything that kind of gets my adrenaline pumping really makes me excited. So like I love roller coasters and all of those things. So spinning kind of gave me that sensation in a way when I first started. In the studio I started at, it was 6 posts total, but only 2 of them were static. So the rest of them were spin. So majority of the work only.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So yeah, so majority of the work that I was doing when I first started was on spin pole. And I used to always wonder like, how do people get the pole to continue to spin? Because I never knew like how do I keep my feet off of the ground as long as possible and keep this pole moving. So that was like the main thing for me. Like when I first started, is just learning spin and kind of like, I think that's why I gravitated towards it so much. It's like, it feels like a whirlwind, you know, I'm jumping on there. It's taking me for a ride. We twirling, we going fast, we going slow, I'm upside down. Oh, it's just everything, you know? So that I would say is like my all-time favorite thing about pole. My second, and I wouldn't even say this is second, I would say it's up there too. I really love that I inspire people. I think that is like so heartwarming because when people give me compliments about like my footwork, it's always so it's so weird. I don't want to say it's weird, but like I'm not, you know, like when I'm dancing, I'm kind of just like just moving, you know, I'm doing what feels natural for me. And, you know, I'm always shocked when people are like just so awed. I'm like, you know, like you're your own biggest critique.
True.
A lot of the times, you know, I could look at a combo and be like,
right.
And it would be probably the smallest thing that nobody would notice. And so in my head, I might be like, oh, I messed this up or X, Y, and Z, you know, and then someone would come and give me a compliment. I'm like, oh man, like you know, it just reminds me like, give yourself grace, you know, like, and keep doing what you're doing. You know, I really love inspiring people. That's what I try and tell my students all the time. It's like, you know, pole is hard work. It is not easy.
Okay.
You probably are not going to get, you know, there are some things that you are not going to get on your first time.
Right.
But that's really a lot of things that come with life. You know, anything you try that's new, anything you try that's new is not going to feel right at first. It's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel weird. It's going to feel like you're uneasy about it, you know? So I think that's what I always try to preach to like my students and anybody else that takes my class is like, just keep coming. You will literally build yourself up. I could not do anything. I could do a fan kick when I first started my very first class, and I was able to do a shoulder mount. But besides that,
that's the thing. Like y'all, some men just be able to be like doing some of the strength stuff that women would be like, what? It took me forever to do a shoulder mount. Forever.
And the thing is, like, I couldn't do a sit. For damn sure, like I remember trying to do a butterfly, and this was probably like a week or two, or you know, into the pole journey. But I remember trying to do a butterfly and being like, I will never be able to get this. Like it was so hard to be able to go upside down and control that. So all that to say, I like inspiring people. I try and, you know, speak life into people when they come to my class because I know how easy it is to kind of get in your head about things when things aren't going how you thought they would. So I always try and tell my students, you know, try it again, do your other side, you know, like keep doing it, give yourself grace. If you didn't get it this time, you're gonna come again next week and you're gonna eat it up, you know,
there you go.
Yeah. So
period.
that I think will that's another like really high for me. It's just being able to inspire people, and just tell them if like I can do it, you can do it. Because I never believed that I could do half the things that I'm doing now, and they're, I wouldn't say easy for me, but you know, they're you know, I practiced them enough where I feel confident in doing those moves. So
well, I mean, I love that because you're just like, literally, you guys listen to like how Keith speaks about pole. You could just tell, like, he just has the biggest smile on his face. Like, he fucking loves it.
I should be like an advocate. You get a pole. You get a pole. Okay.
Hey, you get a pole. You get a pole. You get a pole. I love that. I love that. Well, when it comes to pole, though, like, are there any like, you know, like, what's your least favorite thing about pole? Like, I like duality. I like, you know, the just to. I can't even speak that word. I'm high as hell, y'all. I don't know if you saw me take a little hit of this when Keith was talking. So he's got it too. He's like, wait, what? Say less, queen. Yeah, anything like that bothers you about pole that you wish you could like be like, oh God, I hate that whatever, anything.
Absolutely. So another thing about me is that I'm a bit of a hypochondriac. So I don't like sticky things on my hands. I don't like my body feeling sticky. I don't like feeling dry.
How do you do that?
Ooh, so it really is a balance for me when I do pole, because pole requires all of those things, like no lotion. If you need grip aids, you know, you're either using tack or using dry hands. I don't mind dry hands. Dry hands is my preferred grip, but anything like tack, firm grip, anything like that, I am not trying to use unless it is a last resort. So that is the biggest thing that I don't like about pole, is having to like feel like sticky all the time, I guess, like and just like dry when I go there. And like even like I love floor work, but rolling on the ground is another thing. It's like,
because of the dirtiness of it. Wow, I didn't know this about you, hubby. Wow. And then you know what? And let's give the listeners some context if they're not really too familiar with pole. So like, we say sticky things. These all the things that Keith just listed, like the eye tack and then the dry hands, things like that. These are just balms. They're like sticky balms that you will put on your body because essentially, guys, you need to stick to the pole with your skin, right? That's why you do see pole dancers like half naked on the gram. You know what I mean? Because we need all of our skin to stick to the pole. However, if you are slippery from lotion or sunscreen, you ain't gonna stick to the pole. So a lot of us pole dancers be ashy, you know what I'm saying? We avoid lotion, you know, at all costs because of that. And then the stickiness, like you need the little, you know, you need those things on your body. So you're right. So we're constantly like washing our bodies of like, there's a little sticky tack behind my knee right now because I taught, you know what I mean? So like it just never goes away.
And it's so thick. You can take a shower and still fit it, like especially tack, like or eye tag. You could just I
be scrubbing. I'd be scrubbing to get that shit off. But yeah. Okay. I can definitely relate to that. I could definitely relate to that because I feel you on that for sure. And then the rolling on the ground thing, right? It bothers you? Wow.
Yeah. I really do enjoy floor work. So I do too. It's so crazy. Like I'm just always in my head about honestly almost everything, but I play it off, you know.
There you go. We wouldn't even know. And you know what too? And that's crazy because if you're polling with most of the time without using like eye tag, how that means the strength that you have is amazing. To stick to that pole, it is all you. Yeah, it is all you squeezing. That's amazing. That's incredible. Wow. Well, I feel like we've gotten to know the pole dancer, Keith, you know, the Miss Kinesiology side to you. Before we move on to the next segment though, are there any like if people are obviously interested in taking your classes now, so like where can we find you? Are there any shows that we can see you in or virtually or what you got going on now?
Yeah, so I am located in LA, so I'm LA based, so I'm absolutely available for private lessons. I'm available for parties. I'm available for performances. Anywhere in the immediate area I can get to. So feel free to reach out to me. I am also teaching in LA and Culver City every Thursday. I teach 5 classes, 3:30 to 9:30. I'm there all afternoon. You can absolutely join me there. And I am also, I have not disclosed this yet.
Oh my
but I
God.
am also
Exclusive?
going to be, yes, I'm also going to be competing again. And PSO's competition, it'll be in October in LA. So.
Oh my
yeah.
God. Yes. Brr, 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 brr.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yes.
I'm really excited that you're competing again, Keith. You're gonna fucking kill it, as always.
I am too.
And now
I
even
am too.
even now more hearing your background too, of like, you know, with swim and just like your athleticism side and like the competition, like I get it now. It all makes so much sense, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is meant for you. And yeah, you're just gonna,
Yeah.
it's amazing. So well, you guys heard it. You guys can go. And then the thing is, I'll put his information in the show notes so you guys can go ahead and check out his Instagram, and he posts everything on there for where he's going to be at and private lessons and all that. I'm sure you could just DM him, slide in his DMs to get that.
Okay,
but yeah.
Slip a slide.
All right, slide in those DMs. Okay. Well, we're going to take a quick break. And then when we come back, Keith is going to do our meditate, masturbate, and or medicate segment next. We back.
Yeah.
This episode was brought to you by Lost Farm. From the makers of Kiva Confections comes Lost Farm. Strain-specific, plant-based, 10 milligram THC edible gummies and chews infused with what? 100% live resin and solventless live resin for a distinctively full spectrum, true to the plant high. Novices need not apply. Must be 21 or older to consume. And we are back from our break, guys. And you know what it's time for? It's time for meditate, masturbate, and or medicate. And guys, if you are new to the show, this is our wellness segment where we ask our guests our 3 pillars of lifestyle that we choose, which is meditate, masturbate, medicate. The guests can choose 1, 2, or all 3 to talk about. It's up to them. And yeah, Keith, what do you choose today? Oh my God.
So I choose Medicate.
Yes, Medicate. Speaking of, let me go ahead and take a little hit off this. Yes. Hubby's gonna light up. He gonna smoke with us. What are you smoking on?
Some sativa. It's a pre-roll that I got.
Do you know the strain? Because we are nerds here. We like to hear about that. Do you know?
I can tell you that it's sativa.
It's a sativa, you know what I'm saying? Well, it's Cali. It's Cali weed.
Cali,
so
you know, we just go right down the street, you know, and go in the store, walk on out and get it. So
I know that's right.
I can't tell you exactly what it is, so no, I can't. But
okay, well, for you,
sativa.
Okay, so you chose Medicate. So yeah, so obviously we're gonna talk about cannabis, y'all. So yeah, so you just mentioned that you like sativas. Okay, perfect. Sativa. And why is it that you like sativa?
I like sativa because it doesn't make you go to sleep. So indica will make you tired.
Yep.
It'll make you, you know, they call it in the couch.
Literally.
You want to be in the couch when you smoke it. So, you know, usually when I'm smoking, I like to be doing stuff. I like to, you know, be on the way to somewhere, about to go to some event, live life somewhere. So I need something that's going to be exciting for me and keep me up and active and all of those things. So.
Okay. Do you smoke indicas like when you're at home, like when you're relaxing, or?
I will smoke indica. It's always hit or miss with the strand though. So some strands of indica I've had are really nice actually, where I can, you know, I feel like I can go and do a lot of things with. And then there's some where it's like, all right, I need a nap because
this shit hit.
Yeah, it's
shit hit.
Kicking my ass right now. So I will smoke indica mainly though. It is when I'm at home or towards the end of the night, or if I'm stretching.
So good.
Yes. Yeah. So that's mainly when I like to do it.
I love it. I love it. And so that I love that you said that when you're stretching, because I was gonna say, I was like, let's see if we can like tie in pole to this because because I actually work in cannabis too, guys. I'm a industry professional. So when it comes to cannabis, like I'm a huge advocate. It's part of my job. So when I was in LA, I was actually in there for work. So I was training for this new portfolio I'm taking over, and it's a Cali brand. And literally, I was like going to different dispos, different dispensaries. I went to a black owned dispensary out there. Shout out to Willow. That shit was like, oh my God, it was black owned, woman owned, beautiful dispensary in LA. Yeah, it was, yeah, I don't know. I was like, it was tiny, it was like small when you walked in, but it was like literally like all you needed. It was just gorgeous. But anyways, when it comes to cannabis, there's just so many layers to it, and so there's so many things that people like use cannabis for. And I love that you said for stretching, because honestly, I really do feel like cannabis helps me as a pole dancer. It really does.
Yeah.
Like I am when you guys take my classes, I'm high as hell. Okay, just straight off the bat, I'm high
Every time.
every fucking time. I'm high. I might even hit my vape in class. I'm at a place now where she's like, go ahead, girl. You know what I mean? Do you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not gonna like literally tell you guys to do it in a sense, because everybody it's different for everyone. But when I know for a fact, for me, it helps me. So for you, I was really happy to hear that you said that, because stretching, could be so boring, time consuming, a little tedious. So if you high, you're a little looser, your muscles may be a little more relaxed. So that makes a lot of sense.
It does. That's the crazy part to me is like, I find stretching so fun. Like
You love it.
So fun.
I wish I was you.
Like like it is so much fun to me to like, because most of the time when I'm really doing deep stretches, I am already sore as hell. So like my body is so stiff and sore. So it's more of a recovery and more of a relieving factor for me versus
work.
Like work. Yeah. So it feels good for me. And I am the type of person that stretches for hours.
Come on now. Well, he's freaking bendy as hell, guys. Like he's like a pretzel.
Like that was another thing pre-COVID. I used to go to the gym and stretch for a minimum of 2 hours.
Wow.
I wouldn't even exercise. I had all my stretching equipment. I would go and stretch. So I was a maniac. But all that to say, like, I really, really love stretching. And so when it's my time to stretch, like that's my me time. I'm on my yoga mat. I have my AirPods in. I have my nice music playing. I got the blunt going.
I know that's right.
Going, the candles lit, whatever I need for my session. And that's my time. Honestly, like it's kind of my meditation time in a way too. Like I don't really meditate and like I don't really sit and like meditate, but it is meditative for you.
Yeah, come on, adding in meditate segment. Come on now. I love it. Segue.
Blend them all in here.
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
I love that. You know what?
Yeah,
that is the first time I think I've had anybody on it said that, like, yeah, they use stretching as a meditative practice for them. And I can see that for you, like you said, like everything else you do is like work, you're sore or whatever, but then that's your time to like cool down. And like, I love that. I wish I felt the same. I honestly wish I did.
It's a journey for us all.
Oh, I always tell myself, I wish I loved stretching and I wish I loved running. I don't like either one. I don't.
Yeah. And I will not run, which is why I decided to swim. And I could swim. It feels like playing to me. It does not feel like work. It doesn't feel hard to me in a way. So like I will swim all day. I'll swim laps for hours. You got me.
Wow.
But if you ask me to run a mile with you, I'm gonna pass. Not that I can't do it, but I'm gonna pass respectfully.
Respectfully, right? Yeah.
Respectfully, okay.
Right. Yeah. I never asked you this earlier in our segment, but because I know, okay, so like Keith is he does pole full time, so to speak, but you also do have a job, which involves exactly what you mentioned, right? Stretching. Right, nice
Exactly.
segue. So do you want to
Mhm.
share a little bit about that, or do you want to like, nah, because it's like, that's my job.
I mean, I'll share a little bit about it. I basically stretch people as my other job. It's a really fun job for me because I, again, enjoy stretching. So people literally come to my job and we do nothing but stretch them. Like they come and we spend an hour or a half an hour and we stretch clients. And it is really a fulfilling job. You get to meet a lot of cool people. You get to like really a lot of cool people. So I feel like nobody really understands stretching until you're actually being stretched. You know, like it doesn't make sense to do it. Like, why would someone pay? You know, like I feel like this is what people think. It's like, why would I pay to go get stretched? That doesn't sound worth it. But when you actually come, be like, everybody's gonna have some form of tension, some form of tightness in their body, even if you didn't actually consciously feel it at first. When you step in and get on that table and I put you in that hamstring stretch, you're gonna feel it.
Oh my God.
Okay, you're gonna
Oh
feel
my
it.
God. I'm triggered right now because my shit is injured. So I'm like, oh,
okay. And if you don't, we're gonna figure out how you can feel it. So we're gonna readjust, we're gonna start again and make sure that you're feeling that stretch. So that is also what I do outside of pole dancing. And I really enjoy it. I really, really do. Again, I love stretching. I stretch on my own. So going to work and stretching people, it doesn't really feel like work to me. So
that's amazing. That's amazing. And then like, yeah, so since you do love stretching and all that, like, wouldn't you say you're like stretching in like your training contortion too? Or that's essentially what that would like, what's the difference? Do you know the difference between like stretching and then contortion? Like,
so stretching is mainly, I guess it really depends on what you're going for. So some people can stretch to feel relief. Basically, they want to ease tension that's in their body, or if they have a specific injury, they could be stretching to kind of like keep that area mobile and active, but something that's not intense. So exercising per se. And then there's some people that stretch to gain flexibility. So that's actually like holding stretches a little longer, maybe working on things like specific things like splits, back bends, things like that. And then contortion is, it's more so, I think it's more so just like, it's people who are training contortion are usually training to perform that or be a performer in contortioning. So it's really a more of a higher level. You're working towards specific moves, specific transitions. So it's just an elevated level of stretching. They're not necessarily the same thing, though. There is a little bit of a difference, but there is some gray areas in between. You have to stretch. You have to be flexible to be a contortionist. So you do have to
literally.
stretch.
Yeah, literally.
But yeah, contortioning also requires a lot of strength. Also, so you have to balance having your muscles being strengthened. Basically, they have to be able to support your body and the things that you're trying to, or the positions that you're trying to go into. Versus stretching could be more so, again, I'm trying to work on my splits, so I'm just gonna, stretch my hamstrings, stretch my quads, stretch my hips out, and then work on the split. So I guess it all depends on what you're actually what your end goal is with stretching and contortion. So
I like that you said that though. I like your breakdown because it's like, you're right. Because with contortion, I feel like people that are already flexible, they're working towards a different goal, right? Like you said, like performing. And so not only do they have to be flexible, they have to be strong. So you're actually building strength as you increase your flexibility. So it's a little bit of like you said, I feel like a lot of active stretching. Is that correct? Like active, active flexibility, meaning like, instead of just like falling into it, but like literally like you're like kind of squeezing intense, like, into the move, right?
Yeah, you're activating your muscles while basically in the movement, but it's also more of letting your muscles do most of the work versus gravity. So for example, you could do a split on the ground and literally gravity is doing the work. So you don't actually have to use any of your muscles. In reality, you can kind of just sit in your split and relax in the split and not have to do anything. But if you try to do that same split standing up, so upright or like bent over, trying to lift one leg high towards the air, that's more of an active engagement because you have to use your muscles to activate. You have to activate your muscles basically to lift that leg up, right? So you're not having to do so that's the main difference. You have to do a little bit more work and act like in an active split or an active stretch versus just a passive stretch, kind of sitting in a stretch and breathing and then letting gravity do most of the work. They're both great though. It just depends on, again, what you're trying to do. So most people, like if you're warming up, that's when you want to do more active stretches. So leg swing, shoulder rotations, things like that, that are actually moving your muscles, getting them warmed up, activating the muscles to kind of like get you prepared for whatever you're going to do. If you're doing a passive stretch, I would recommend doing it after. So that's more so, you know, you're stiff, you're tired, you're sore then. So a passive stretch would be more beneficial to do afterwards because then you can also relieve those muscles and give yourself some relief as well. So.
Right. I love that too, because it's like, it makes so much sense because like when I watch like synchronized swimmers or like ballet dancers, like you could just tell that they're on another level of flexibility because they're going underwater upside down and then she's in a split. So like that's not gravity, that's her. You know what I mean? Or that's them, you know?
Yeah.
And then same with like ballet dancers. I mean, the fact that you could just sit there and just like what the fuck?
Hey, yes, that's a good example.
Like
that's
Misty Copeland, what girl?
Oh baby, and ballet is hard. Ballet is hard work, but I think out of all the dancing styles that I took and trained under, ballet was it definitely was my favorite because there was always a right and a wrong way of doing it. Like you can look and be like, no, that is not right. You know, it's strict in how you're doing it and you have to engage all these muscles at once. And I always wonder like when ballet was created, you know, like the way the body is mechanically kind of like used in ballet, it's amazing how they studied the body so well to like know that. So and what I mean by that is, and when I say mechanics, I mean like body mechanics. So for example, if you're raising to your toes, right? So if you're standing up, your feet are flat on the ground, but then you want to come to the balls of your feet and then you want to come to the tips of your toes. That's what I mean about mechanics. So like jumping mechanics, when you're jumping off of the ground, you're ultimately jumping off the balls of your feet into the air. And then when you land, you're supposed to land on the tips of your toes, then balls of your feet, then you're going flat.
Really?
Right?
Okay.
So it's basically how to move the body safely, but efficiently. So ballet, I always thought was amazing because just the way the mechanics, the body mechanics and everything set up is so amazing. So
I could just look.
Kinesiology.
Yeah, I love it because like your face lights up, like you like nerd out in this. I think it's so great. You guys, you have to experience Hubby in person, okay? You really do. Thank you so much. You have been such a informative guest. Like, I love that we had this time. You know, like we've known each other for years, but you know, just recently we rekindled and we saw each other out. We twerked again. We took class. We went and got drunk together. You know what I'm saying? That was a cute time, you know. And I'm just so proud of you, Hubby, because you know, I wasn't like a part of your first inception of Pole, but I saw you in the beginning stages, And Pole Hubby was like
Yeah.
my pole. He would be like my pole double. Like we would always do tricks together and stuff. So we do have like, maybe I'm gonna post some like, oh, when I post this episode, I'm gonna post like old videos of us doing our tricks that we used
that
to
would be so
do,
cute.
and that would be such a throwback and so cute. And I'm just so proud of you. I'm just so proud of you.
you.
Like you have
Thank
just
you.
evolved as just a person, a dancer, a human being, like just like everything. And I'm just like over the moon. I can't wait to see what, you know, what the future holds for you. You know, the possibilities are endless, because, you know, I could just hearing your passion behind it really honestly just solidifies that whole like, yes, hubby, like you are in your world, you are going to take this over, like, and just do it in your own way, you know, like, you know, as humbling as you are already, like you're just a beautiful soul. So yeah, thank you again for being here and sharing your story.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. It's definitely a pleasure, my co-sister. Okay.
I mean, listen, like, I mean, we have history. History, okay. But at this time, where can we find you? Like, what are your IG handles? What all the information we can like find you? It'll be in the show notes, but like, let the people know.
Absolutely. So my Instagram is _Trippy Taylor, TrippyTaylor. Same thing with my TikTok. I am on TikTok now, so yes, you can follow me there. I'll also be posting a little bit more other content there too. So yes, follow me.
Oh my God, yes. And then yeah, if you're in the LA area, like go check out, like go find his studio and go and take a
Los Angeles.
Yes. And just
yes.
Experience in person. You want privates, obviously he can, if you have any goals, stretching, you know what I mean? I'm sure you probably do all those things privately as well. So yeah, you can definitely.
I'm available for pole. I'm available for stretching. If you need some swim lessons,
there you
I
go.
got you. You need personal training, I got you. You want to learn some handstands?
There you go.
Come on down, okay?
Come on down.
Okay, come on down.
I love it. Well, at this time, guys, we're gonna go ahead and end this episode. As always, thank you so much for listening. And you can always leave us a comment, rate us, subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube when I get my life together and post videos again. You know, ... Just like this visual you'll see. But yeah, we are just so grateful for you guys every week. And yeah, hubby, what do you want to leave the people with?
Oh, what do I want to leave the people with?
Leave these people with?
I got you. Okay, I have to think for a second.
I know, right? I'm like, I just sprung it on you.
The best thing is, you know, stay true to yourself. You know, gas yourself up. You know, be your biggest supporter. Be your biggest fan. Don't give up on yourself. And, you know, go after everything that makes you passionate or that you're passionate about. Go after your dreams. It's never too late. It's really never too late. You can do anything you put your mind to. Self-doubt has no place here.
I know that's
so,
right.
You know, I just want to inspire you all to, like, you know, be better, do better, shake a little ass on the way. Because
I was gonna say
all the way to the top, honey. I'm gonna be shaking that ass. So
I know that's right.
Period. So do all those great things. So
I was like in like very Trippy Taylor, you know, whatever, like way about like let's leave I'm gonna leave the people with go twerk on a handstand. All right, go ahead and twerk on get on your wall and twerk on a handstand and salute that.
Okay. Go to the nearest corner, find the nearest stop sign, and twerk that ass.
I know that's right. Right. And on that note, guys, we will see.
And matter of fact, make it the busiest intersection in the city. Don't go down the street if it's not busy. I want you to get the credit that you deserve.
I know that's right. I know. Be the next Tik Tok sensation and just go to the corner and just fucking, you know, and then tag us. We would love to see it.
And then tag us, yes. Okay.
Absolutely. Okay. Right? All right, guys. We love you guys so much. We'll catch you guys next week.
Love you guys.
You are now listening to Kimbology.
Kimbo, aka the traveling chafing queen.
Sexy sustainability.
Meditate, masturbate, medicate.